Hello guys, today we're going to be looking at solving linear inequalities. Before we actually look at an example, I just want to go through a few things that you should never do. And I'll start off by looking at an example which says this. Let's look at the inequality 2 is less than 3. For any other inequality as well, this could work. So a greater than example, a less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, the principle also applies. Now, a lot of the times we can treat inequalities like an equal sign. So whatever you do to one side, you must also do to the other. So for example, if I add 1, I get 3 on the left hand side is less than 4 on the right hand side. That's fine. That all works. Okay. What about if instead I subtract 1? So on the left hand side I get 1 and that's less than 2. Again, everything is absolutely fine. Okay. What about now if I multiply by a positive number? So let's multiply both sides by 2. So I get that 4 is less than 6. That's absolutely fine. That works. Let's suppose I divide. If I divide both sides by 2, I get 1 is less than 1.5. Again, that works as well. Let's look what happens if we multiply by a negative number. Let's multiply both sides by minus 2. So 2 times minus 2 is minus 4. And 3 times minus 2 is minus 6. Now we have a problem because minus 4 is not less than minus 6. So actually what you would need to do here is change the sign like this. However, to be honest, we can get around this by never actually having to multiply by a negative number. So, and of course the other situation would be if you were to divide by a negative number. So let's divide by minus 2. 2 divided by minus 2 is minus 1. 3 divided by minus 2 is minus 1.5. But minus 1 is not less than minus 1.5. So again, that's a problem where we'd have to change the sign. But again, personally, I would never multiply or divide by negative numbers, and I advise that you should also never do it. So, now with that having been said, let's look at an example. So we want to find a set of values for which x minus 3 is less than minus 1 plus 2x. Okay, so if we were solving this like an equation, we'd take everything with an x onto one side and everything without an x, or in this case the numbers, on the other side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract x from both sides. So if I subtract x from both sides, I get minus 3 is less than minus 1 plus x. So of course 2x take away x is x. Notice how I chose to subtract x from both sides and not minus 2x from both sides, because here I have a positive x value. Okay. So now I'm going to add 1 to both sides because I want to get the x by itself. So I have minus 3 plus 1, which is minus 2. So minus 2 is less than x. Notice how I've left everything on this side that it is. I've not switched anything around. It's important not to do that with inequalities. So my final answer is minus 2 is less than x. Or the other equivalent way of stating this is x is greater than minus 2. The arrow of the inequality is still pointing towards the minus 2. That's how I like to think about that one. Okay, let's quickly do another example then. So let's look at this one. 2 minus 4x over 3 is greater than 5 minus 3x over 4. Okay, so to deal with this one, we're just going to cross multiply. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 4 to get rid of the denominator on the right hand side, and multiply both sides by 3 to get rid of the denominator on the left hand side. So I end up getting 4 multiplied by 2 minus 4x in brackets is greater than 3 multiplied by 5 minus 3x. Remember, this is okay because we're multiplying by positive numbers, not negative numbers. Okay, and from this point, we can just expand the brackets. So we get 4 times 2, which is 8. 4 times minus 4 is minus 16x. Here we're just expanding, so this doesn't count as multiplying by a negative number. Expanding a bracket does not change the value. On the right hand side, we have 3 times 5, which is 15. 3 times minus 3x, which is minus 9x. Okay, now I'm going to add 16x to both sides so that I get a positive x. So I have 8 is greater than 15, when minus 9x plus 16x is going to be 7x, so plus 7x. Now I'm going to subtract 15 from both sides. 8 minus 15 is going to be minus 7, so minus 7 is greater than 7x. Now I can divide both sides by 7. Again, dividing by a positive number is okay. So I get that minus 1 is greater than x. Or you could also say that x is less than minus 1. Again, remember, the arrow was pointing to the x before, so the arrow is also pointing to the x in the last line. And that's it.